Good day. I am Carlos Abad Santos, Assistant Secretary for Policy and Planning of NEDA, and I am pleased to present to you the strategic framework of the updated Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022. This includes our strategies or what we are going to do to meet our headline targets in the remaining plan period. In the first 3 years of the implementation of the PDP, we have already passed critical reforms to ensure that development is steered towards enabling all Filipinos to attain their respective long-term vision and that economic growth is inclusive and sustainable. However, in 2020, midway of the plan implementation, the world was hit by COVID-19, leaving an indelible effect on the socio-economic development of our country. For this reason, the PDP has been updated to build on the gains of the recent years and to consider the need for recovery and adapting to the new and better normal. Moving forward, the health and resiliency of the Filipinos is now prioritized as the foundation for achieving Ambisyon Natin 2040. Since the updating of the PDP happened during the second half of 2020, the targets for 2020 were no longer revised. It was already expected that a number of these targets will not be achieved considering major disruptions in the programs, projects, and activities of the government and the private sector. However, adaptive planning was done to prioritize urgent requirements and immediately address the adverse impact of the pandemic. Meanwhile, here are the revised headline targets we have for 2021 to 2022. With respect to sustaining economic growth, we have seen the economy contract in 2020 by 9.6%. However, we remain optimistic that in 2021 and 2022, we will have an economic growth ranging from 6.5 to 7.5%, which is slightly lower than the initial target of 7 to 8%. On the other hand, gross national income per capita targets for 2021 and 2022 are set to be at 5 to 6%. The same can be said for subsistence incidents, or the share of Filipinos who have difficulties in meeting their basic food needs. That is, the revised target for 2021 is estimated at 5 to 7%, which is still within the pre-pandemic target of 5% by 2022. Meanwhile, food inflation will be sustained at 2 to 4% in 2021 and 2022. On improving the Human Development Index, which measures the average achievement in key dimensions of human development, specifically whether Filipinos are knowledgeable and have a long and healthy life and a decent standard of living, the trend, which increased from 2015 to 2019, is expected to continue until 2022. On employment-related indicators, there was an expected increase in unemployment in 2020 due to the pandemic, with gradual recovery in the later part of 2020 and onto 2021. Hence, unemployment targets in 2021 and 2022 were revised from 7 to 9%. This implies that about 2.4 to 2.8 million jobs and 1 to 1.2 million jobs are expected to be created in 2021 and 2022, respectively. Youth unemployment is expected to increase to 14.5 to 16.5% in 2021 and 20.5 to 22.5% in 2022. The bulk of the labor force are among the younger age group, and the first batch of K-12 graduates will be graduating from college and are expected to join the labor force in the next years. On the other hand, the target for underemployment in areas outside the National Capital Region is 16 to 18% in 2021 and 15.5 to 17.5% in 2022. On fostering an innovative society, the Philippines rank in terms of the Global Innovation Index significantly improved in 2019, placing 54th out of 129 economies, then further up ranked 50th out of 131 countries in 2020. The country targets to be among the top one-third by 2022 or between the 40th to the 42nd rank. To ensure that we meet the foregoing revised targets, the PDP 2017 to 2022 overall strategic framework was also updated, aligning it with the need for recovery and the new and better normal within the overall goal of a healthy and resilient Philippines. We still retain the three major pillars of PDP, namely malasakit, pagbabago, and patuloy na pag-unlad. Now, the specific strategies we have incorporated in these pillars are the following: malasakit, or building a high-trust society; pagbabago, or transforming towards equity and resiliency; and patuloy na pag-unlad, or increasing growth potential. Now, the specific strategies we have incorporated in these pillars are the following. Under the malasakit pillar, wherein we aim to regain the people's trust in public institutions and cultivate trust among Filipinos, we will be doing the following: ensuring responsive, people-centered, technology-enabled, and clean governance, which is Chapter 5. This focuses on building transparent, accountable, and effective institutions, resulting in efficient delivery of public services and high public trust. Pursuing swift, fair, and humane administration of justice, Chapter 6, which aims to adopt a sector approach from a fragmented mode of delivering justice, thus streamlining and harmonizing processes across the different agencies in the executive and judiciary branches of the government. Promoting Philippine culture and values towards bayanihan, Chapter 7. This highlights the need to increase awareness and promote the value of the country's cultural diversity and shared heritage among Filipinos. For the pagbabago pillar, wherein economic and social opportunities will be ensured for all to transform society and achieve equity and resiliency, we will be doing the following: expanding economic opportunities in agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, or Chapter 8, which targets small farmers, fisher folks, and micro, small, and medium enterprises to ensure that the groups that lag behind will benefit from these opportunities. Expanding economic opportunities in industry, or Chapter 9A, which aims to increase the sector's output by leveraging Industry 4.0 technologies and usher in the growth of the digital economy. Expanding economic opportunities in services, or Chapter 9B, which aims to maximize the sector's role as an integral backbone to a wide range of domestic and global industries. Expanding access to economic opportunities for startups, MSMEs, and cooperatives, or Chapter 9C, which aims to promote business inclusion among the groups that lag behind. Transforming human capital development towards greater agility, or Chapter 10, which ensures that individuals and the people groups will have more options to develop their full potential. And ensuring food security and reducing vulnerabilities of Filipinos, or Chapter 11, which focuses on the provision of social protection for vulnerable groups. For the patuloy na pag-unlad pillar, future growth will be accelerated and sustained by the following: reaching for the demographic dividend across all regions, and maximizing the full harvest of this dividend by requiring aggressive efforts to ensure that families will be of the size that they can adequately care and provide for. This is under Chapter 13. Vigorously advancing science, technology, and innovation as a major strategy to sustain and further accelerate growth in the future by graduating to a knowledge economy. This is under Chapter 14. To support both the pagbabago and patuloy na pag-unlad pillars, we also need an enabling and supportive economic environment. Hence, it is also important that we do the following. Ensure sound macroeconomic policy, or Chapter 15. This will promote a responsive fiscal policy and promote competition, or Chapter 16, which will enable markets to perform better and promote inclusive economic growth. These three major pillars of the PDP 2017 to 2022 also have underlying foundations known as the Bedrock strategies for sustainable development. And this will include the following: attaining just and lasting peace, or Chapter 17, which emphasizes that peace is needed to keep economic growth sustainable and inclusive. Ensuring security, public order, and safety, or Chapter 18, which focuses on building the foundation for inclusive growth, a high-trust and resilient society, and a globally competitive knowledge economy. Accelerating infrastructure development, or Chapter 19, which aims to support a higher growth trajectory and improve the quality of life in both urban and rural communities. Building safe and secure communities, or Chapter 12, which shifts the focus from socialized housing to human settlements development in line with the new urban agenda of developing integrated neighborhoods and sustainable communities. Ensuring ecological integrity, clean and healthy environment, or Chapter 20, which guarantees an ecosystem that supports the growth and performance of the sectors of the economy, namely agriculture and fisheries, industry, and services, and provide livelihood especially to resource-dependent communities. Lastly, the updated plan recognizes the plight of many overseas Filipino workers. Thus, a separate chapter has been dedicated for them in the updated PDP. Here, we are committed to work on international migration and development, and this is contained in Chapter 21. With the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent global recession, the unprecedented volume of Filipinos overseas who lost their jobs has heightened the government's efforts in supporting repatriated and returning OFWs and those who remain overseas. The capacity of agencies that serve overseas Filipinos are being scaled up. Further, the government is conducting skills retooling and upgrading programs, employment assistance, and short-term employment programs to facilitate local re-employment of overseas Filipinos who have returned. The pandemic has highlighted the urgency of strategies already being pursued by the government in the first 3 years of the plan implementation, which include protecting the rights and improving the well-being of overseas Filipinos, facilitating the reintegration of returnees and expanding opportunities for overseas Filipinos to participate in the country's development, and strengthening overseas Filipinos' engagement in governance. Despite the changes in this updated PDP, the strategic framework remains geared towards the ambition of Filipinos for a matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay. Moving forward, we realize that there are still about 19 years until 2040, which is quite a long time, and many challenges may still come at any time and may place obstacles along the way. COVID-19 may just be one of these. However, it is important to quickly recover lost ground, ensure sustainability of the gains by building resilience, then get back on track towards Ambition Natin 2040. Hence, for the remaining plan period, the Duterte administration is renewing its commitment to enable and empower every Filipino to enjoy each and every one of his own or her ambition.